Hi everyone, and welcome to our next pre-recorded video for Year 5. This is going to focus on Block 6 content, obviously, and we're going to be looking at Week 6, and this is going to be Lesson 11. So looking forward to going down through this video with you. Let's make a start by looking at the slides. So just a reminder, this is for CEM Year 5 Block 6, and we are in Week 6, and this is Lesson 11, and we're going to be concentrating predominantly on verbal reasoning, also looking at closed passages as well. So let's have a look at the first slide. The first thing we're actually going to concentrate on is a spelling test. So we were looking at commonly misspelt words this week. I am just going to put Billy in the bottom corner just so it's easier for you to focus, and then we're going to read those words out. So if you want to pause the video at this stage, write the numbers 1 to 12. This would be the time to do that, and we will then start reading those words out. So, commonly misspelt words this week. Some of them are quite tricky, so we're going to read those words out twice to you now, and if you can write those down. Number 1, accommodation, accommodation. Write accommodation. Number 2, write the word actually. Write the word actually. Number 3, write the word alcohol. Write the word alcohol. Number 4, although, although. Number 5, analysis. Write the word analysis. Number 6, write the word argument, argument. Number 7, I'd like you to write the word assessment, assessment. Number 8, write the word atmosphere, atmosphere. Number 9, audible, audible. Number 10, audience. Write the word audience. Number 11 is autumn. Write the word autumn. And the last word this week, number 12, is beautiful. Write the word beautiful. Excellent. So hopefully you've managed to write all those words down, but what I will do is read all the words out again, just in case you missed any, and then we'll be able to have a look and see how you got on. Number 1, accommodation. Number 2, actually. Number 3, alcohol. Number 4, although. Number 5, analysis. Number 6, argument. Number 7, assessment. Number 8, atmosphere. Number 9, audible. Number 10, audience. Number 11, autumn. And number 12, beautiful. Let's have a little look at those words. You can now check them down through. So hopefully you can see these words okay. Accommodation, tricky word, did have 2 C's and 2 M's. Actually, and alcohol, just making sure you've got those letters in the right order. Although, analysis, argument. Argument's actually a word that we will come across today, I think, in one of the questions. Assessment, make sure it's got 4 S's. Atmosphere, audible, in other words, it can be heard. Audience, autumn, and of course, beautiful. Well done if you managed to get them all right this week. Again, if you didn't, then please do jot them down under words to learn and stick them in your word and meaning book as well if you weren't quite sure of any of the definitions. Well done. Let's move on now to the next part of our lesson and let's see what we're going to be concentrating on in our Let's 11 Plus Practice Test Papers book. We're going to be looking at closed passages today. We'll be looking at 2 closed passages. We'll also focus on a grammar and spelling section within this lesson. And finally, we will also look at some antonyms. When we talk about the closed test, one of the top tips, and it does say it within our plan, is try reading the words in the word bank first, then the whole passage. This works well for some people. Cross out the words in the word bank after you've inserted them in the passage. Put in the word you know easily first, and that's always a really good idea, to put in the words that you know that you find easy. Right, let's go and have a little look at the multiple choice sheet that we're going to need. So we are in the Get Ahead book. It's important that you are on Test A Paper 2, and you're going to need to make sure that the first section is actually problem solving. We're not starting on that one. You're going to need to find the close part of the multiple choice sheet, which we'll show you in a moment. Also, really good idea to listen to the audio as you're doing these. You can download these off the Let's website, but also do recognise the symbols that you've got as well. I know we've talked quite a bit about these in this block, but do look out for those in your books as well. So we're actually going to be doing the closed passages first on page 31 in the Get Ahead part of your book. You're going to have 10 minutes and 20 questions for you to complete. What we would certainly suggest is you can use the audio download, and this is a good idea just so you know the instructions. You've heard them quite a few times, but just a good idea to listen to those, do the examples, and then work down through the section. In terms of the multiple choice sheet, this is the one that you're going to need, and you're going to need to mark the answers from 1 to 20, and you've got the choices from A to J. Let's have a look at the first closed passage. So if you would like to pause the video at this stage, time yourself for 10 minutes. And as you can see, actually just behind Billy over there, there's the timer. So time yourself for 10 minutes, and that's to do all 20 questions. Remember, you can't move on to any other sections within that time. You need to stay within the closed passage, and the closed passage is, of course, on page 31 to 33. Right, hopefully you've managed to work down through those. Hopefully you found it okay, and let's have a look now at the first section. So the first paragraph that we've got here, or first little extract, is all based on bees. And there are a couple of video links here. Might be quite interesting to learn about how bees make the honey and pollination, and lots of keywords that are really quite interesting. So do watch those video links. In the live lessons, of course, we'll play those videos and you'll be able to learn a little bit more. So the tip suggested that we do look at the words that are in the word bank first of all. Make sure we know what they mean. So we've got a couple of new words here. Consumed. Consumed means when we eat. Effectively, that's when something is done well, if something is done effectively. So I think most of the other words are probably quite well known, and you should know their definitions. So that's always a good idea to look at the word bank before you start, and then we'll have a read down through and see if we can put the words in the right place. Bees are flying insects that are closely something to wasps and ants. Well, they are very similar to wasps and ants, so they are closely related. So once you've used the word, then as we suggested earlier, cross it out. That limits your choices. You're not going to use that one again. And of course, you're going to need to mark it down on your multiple choice sheet as well. So you need to do a horizontal line to mark that down. Let's go and have a look at the next one, or next part of the extract. Bees are known for their something in pollination and are some of the hardest working. Bees are known for their, now what would they be known for? Bees are known for their role in pollination. So in other words, their job. So again, let's cross out role because we've used that one. So as you're going down through, you can give them a tick. And are some of the hardest working, let's have a little look, hardest working creatures on the planet. There we go. So we can cross out F. So again, just move these down a little bit on the line. Worldwide, bees are, what's that? Responsible for pollinating about 1/6 of planet species and approximately 400 different types of agricultural plants. That's a huge amount, isn't it? Let's cross that off. We'll add in on the multiple choice sheet, let's go and add in those answers A, F and E. So we've got A, F and E. So as we would do one question at a time when you actually do your exam. Don't wait until the end to transfer your answers over. If bees did not exist, it would be something difficult for humans to survive on Earth. Extremely difficult to survive. So we need to mark C down for number 5. And let's go on to number 6. There are around 25,000 different something of bee species. And that's types. Again, let's cross out that letter because we've used that. So G was the answer to number 6. And again, we can mark that down clearly on our multiple choice sheet. So just a horizontal line. If you do make any mistakes, then of course rub it out and then do mark your answers down. So let's have a look at the next one. And they have all evolved to become very efficient pollinators. For example, all bees have stiff hairs and pockets on their legs, allowing them to something as much, now that is to effectively as much pollen as possible. So effectively is the word that we need in there. So we've got, for example, we have stiff hairs and pockets on the legs, allowing them to, in actual fact, I think it's collect. So sorry, it's the J that we need in there. So sorry, let me remove the B. It's the J that we need in there. It's not quite lined up properly, so we just need the J. So collect as much pollen as possible. That makes more sense. And transport it effectively to other plants. So it's B that we're going to use there. So we've got J and B for 7 and 8. Let's go back to the multiple choice sheet. J and G. Let's go and have a little look at, sorry, in actual fact it's B there on that one. Let's mark B down for number 8. There we go. Not only do bees something in the production of various crops, they also produce honey, and we're looking for aid in the production of various crops. So again, cross out aid. So we've also eliminated all of the other ones. Well, I don't think we're going to use quite every single word. We didn't cross out extremely. Oh, in actual fact, I think we will. I think we will use them all. Sometimes they do give you extra words, but I think in this case, we are going to use every single one. A sweet delicacy that is something all over the world, and that is consumed. In other words, ate all over the world. So D and I are our answers there. So let's just mark those off. D and I. So that's the answers for all 10. Now, what is worth doing when you've finished is just to scan back up very quickly and just make sure that each particular question has an answer. They do keep the lettering quite close to each other, so it is really important you just double check that you've got those answers for each individual one. So H, A, F, E, C, G, J, B, D and I. So well done if you managed to get 10 out of 10 there. Sorry, it wasn't quite lined up properly, but hopefully you can see from the multiple choice sheet. Something that will rectify for our live sessions. Let's go and have a little look at the next one. And this is all about business. And again, it's worth having a look at the words again in the word bank. Overwhelming, this is a feeling you get if you feel like there's too much or too much work to do, or you feel overwhelmed by a situation. Most of the other words I think you should know. It's just always about trying to slot them in now into the gaps. So do read beyond the gap, that is important. So let's have a look at this first sentence. Launching and running a successful business is a lot something than it seems. So it's a lot harder than it seems. There are so many things that one needs to something before even getting started. Needs to, now a word like think or consider. There we go. Consider before even getting started. These include coming up with an idea, creating a business plan. So B, creating a business plan. Saving some money to get started and working out how to advertise so people can learn about the business and the services that it offers. So if we get rid of H there. The process can quickly become, now that's the word overwhelming, so can be really sort of become challenging and difficult. For this reason, it's good to start slowly and locally. In this way, one has the time to something directly with customers and gain valuable feedback, communicate directly with customers and gain valuable feedback. All aspects of the business can thus be gradually improved before and taking on increased responsibility, can be expanding and taking on increased responsibility. Though many business owners find their work to be challenging, they also find it to be extremely rewarding and, the last one, satisfying. So again, if we just go back to the multiple choice sheet, so we've got FEB, let's just make sure we mark these down. So FEB, and as I said earlier, it is important you do this usually as you're going along, so one question at a time. HAD, and this is mainly because if the timer stops, then you've marked everything down. So HAD. Again, let's go down through and check these off. So again, hopefully not missing any out. If you're unsure, it is certainly worth putting an answer and then coming back to it later. So what you could do, you could always put, say, for example, if number 16 was difficult, you could star it and then come back to that one later. But it is also worth putting something down. You can always change your mind just in case the time runs out. So we've got FEB, HAD. Back to the multiple choice sheet. So FEB, HAD, and then we just need to mark down the last four there. And the last four are GCJ, G, C, and J. And the last one, I think, was I. There we are, it's I. So let's just mark I off. So well done if you managed to get 20 out of 20. I think two quite interesting little passages. But hopefully you were using plenty of techniques as you were going down through those closed passages. Let's move on now to the grammar and the spelling sections, and we have done some of these before. This is a 5-minute section, so we suggest now you pause if you need to get a clock sorted so you can time yourself for 5 minutes. There are only 8 questions. So 5 minutes, 8 questions should be easy enough for you to do. And we are on page 39 to 40, obviously still in Test A, Paper 2, and it's the Get Ahead paper. So there's the multiple choice sheet. As I say, only 8 questions. And let's have a little look down through. So hopefully you've managed to finish now, work down through those questions, and now we're going to mark them. Identify a homophone of the word sleigh from the words below. So we've got sleigh that you might ride on, but like slay the dragon. So the answer to that one is C. So again, if we go back to the multiple choice sheet, mark that one down as C. Identify the plural of the word fish from the words below. Well, it is fish. So just going to mark that in green. So we've got fish, so it's B. Well done if you got that one right. And then we've got to look at the prefix. We know about prefixes. We've been doing those quite a bit in our lessons. This is misunderstand. So the answer is going to be E. And then if we have a look at number 4, select the word below that is misspelt. Well, the answer is judgment because it should be ENT for judgment. So it is important that you make sure that that's an E. Okay, but you've hopefully identified that as a spelling mistake. So that is C for number 4. Make sure, again, horizontal line. And we'll go on to number 5. Select the word below that is misspelt. Well, it's argument, because it doesn't require the E. So well done if you spotted that. So we've got E for number 5. And we do recognise that actually transferring the answer does take time. So keep your multiple choice sheet nice and close to you when you're doing these exercises, just to make sure. Let's go back to the right section. So number 6, select the word below that is misspelt. Well, it's embarrassed because we need 2 R's and 2 S's. I often say the 2 R's are embarrassed by the 2 S's. So number 6 is A. And then we've got 2 left, 7 and 8. And we've got existence, obviously requires an E there, ENCE. And then we've got occasion as well, needs 2 C's and 1 S. So just be careful on that one. So we've got C and C to finish off the multiple choice sheet. So again, just worth checking down through, make sure each of those answers has been recorded properly. So we've got C, B, E, C, E, A, C and C. So well done if you managed 8 out of 8 on the grammar and spelling section. Let's move on now to the last section that we're going to look at, and this is the antonyms section. It's on page 41 and it's still in the Get Ahead Test A, paper 2. Now you'll need to time yourself for 5 minutes here. So again, certainly worth getting the timer out ready for 5 minutes and timing yourself for the 15 questions that follow. Now these are antonyms, so you are looking for words that are opposite in meaning, and what we'll do is we'll talk about the answers as we go down through. Do make sure you're marking it on your multiple choice sheet, and then we'll go down through. So if you want to pause it at this stage, time yourself and work down through the antonyms section, and as I say, you've got 5 minutes to do that. Right, let's go down through and have a look at the antonyms and see what the answers are. So, number 1, we've got descendant and ancestor. So well done if you got that one right. So again, if we mark it on our multiple choice sheet. E. Artificial and natural. Well done if you got that one right. Those, of course, are opposites. And let's mark the B. Number 3, we've got awful and delicious, often referred to sort of in terms of food. Mark down C. I'll actually do that one again just to make sure it is right the way through the letter. That's right. And let's have a look at number 4, tragedy and comedy. So tragedies tend to make you cry, comedies make you laugh. So they are opposites. So we've got 4 is A. Number 5, destroy and construct. Construct being to build, destroy to mean demolish, to knock down. Now, if there are any other words within the actual questions that you're not sure about, do also look those up, write them down. Sometimes a page like this can be a great place to just build up your vocabulary. You can even make some cards and play some paired games as well with antonyms. So number 5 is D. Number 6, we've got distant and near. So we need to mark that down as C. Number 7, hidden and exposed. If something is exposed, it's kind of revealed, a bit like a secret possibly. So we've got 7 is E. Then generous and mean, those are opposites. So mark that down on your multiple choice sheet as B. And then we've got violent and gentle, those are opposites. So we'll mark that down as C. And remember, you'll never identify a pattern. It is completely random. So don't think that there's a sequence at all. Notice and ignore. So you might notice someone across the street. You might ignore them. That would be the opposite. B. So that's 10. Now the last 5, we've got accidental and intentional. If you mean to do something, it's an intentional thing. Accidental, didn't mean to do it. So number 11 is D. 12, we've got mend and break would be opposites. So that's E. Number 13, occupied and vacant. So it's occupied, it's kind of being used or taken, whereas vacant, it's empty. Often talk about houses being occupied or vacant. So those are opposite in meaning. So we've got C for number 13. Nearly there now. 2 left. Let's have a look at 14. Seldom and often. So if you do something seldomly, you don't do it very often. So let's take that one, and that will be D, number 14. Number 15, got poverty and wealth. So again, those are opposite, so we're going to mark that down as A. So, well done if you managed to get all of those right. And again, I'm just going to go down through, double check that we marked them correctly on the multiple choice sheet. And well done if you got all of those antonyms correct. Right, let's just go and have a little look at the spellings that we need to learn for our next lesson. These again are commonly misspelt words, so please do look really carefully at these. Some challenging words in your next spelling test. Things like miscellaneous and questionnaire, continuous, not particularly easy, so do please concentrate really hard on learning those 12 words. And in regards to your homework, you've got some more closed passages to do and some additional things within your Let's verbal reasoning book. There certainly is a dominance on vocabulary and English. That's why we've given you another set of those questions to work through in week 6. So please do go down through those and do watch, of course, the videos that will accompany these tasks as well. Thanks very much for watching this video, and I hope you found it useful, and hopefully we get a chance though to see you in our live lessons. Take care of yourselves. Thanks very much. Bye bye.